Mega Dads Live is a mature-rated podcast. It's for the Mega Dads, the Mega Moms, but not the Mega Kids. So put on those earmuffs and let's go! Welcome everyone to Mega Dads Live, your monthly visit to the place where gamer life meets real life. Podcasting since 2014, we're the ultimate podcast to help you balance your love of games media with the joys of life in the real world. My name is Adam Leonard, and I am joining you from the 33rd floor of Megadad's headquarters, located in the heart of our nation's capital, Champlin, Minnesota. And I am joined, as always, by my lovely assistant manning the switchboard, Mabel. Mabel, how are you doing this fine national holiday? Yes. I saw you gathering up some fireworks this morning. It looks like you're going to put on quite a celebration. Those weren't fireworks? Oh, really? Dynamite. Dynamite. Oh, blowing up the Supreme Court. Okay, well, good luck. I hope it all turns out for you. That's exciting stuff. I can't wait to see it on the news. Joining me in the second chair, as always, is the man who has the full text of the Declaration of Independence micro-printed on his taint, Antonio. How are you doing, Tony?
I had to do it for the motherland, Adam. I love that. Democracy at work. Let's threaten somebody. Let's get violence involved. This is great. What are we coming to, Adam? Let's just strip rights away from everyone left and right. First they came for the gamers.
No, just
Adam.
everyone left. Everyone left, Antonio. The right is fine. As long as you are a straight white Christian man, you are going to be A-okay.
First they came for the Nintendo fans, and I said nothing. And then they came for the PlayStation fans, and I said nothing. And nay, there was no one left. I don't know. What's up? How's everybody doing today? Good?
I am ready to celebrate alcohol, I think, is what I'm basically. The only thing that I'll be celebrating on this holiday is getting shit-faced in the sun. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I'm going to pretend.
Did you know that alcohol goes up in bad economies, good economies? It doesn't matter. It just keeps climbing.
It's the gift that keeps on giving.
People drink. People have money in good times. People drink. It's just up and up and up. That's a lock. Stock tip from Hypecaster here.
Speaking of up and up and up, this podcast is only getting better and better and better because finally making his stunning comeback to the program, a gentleman who needs no introduction, a man whose beard is a symbol of freedom and liberty, Wondrous Will Schultz. Will, welcome back to the show. How the fuck are you?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back here. Though I am now considering shaving the beard.
No.
You should just paint it, just dye it red, white, and blue, and then just splatter glitter all over it. That'd be hot. That'd be hot.
I'm so excited to have Will back. The little text on my taint is vibrating right now. I am so excited.
The declaration is elongated.
Did you pay extra for that?
It's great to have Will back.
It's so great to have Will back. Did you see, you know what happened to this show after he left?
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
We had issues. Will, how's it going? How are you? What's new?
I'm all right, you know. I went through a pretty hefty crash, which I am mostly out of.
Yeah?
You know, I'm doing all right now.
Well,
Much
so did
like
we.
America. Yeah.
We'll get through. We'll get through this together.
How long are we gonna stick with this July 4th theme or whatever? Should we reference it the entire episode? Or these puns continue?
No, God, no, please. I
Okay,
can't.
we're done. Okay.
So a little story about what's going on with me right now is I went to see Indiana Jones last night, on a whim. I got out of work early, got home. I said, everybody get your shit together. We're going to go see Indiana Jones.
Who, Dad?
Exactly. No, they didn't care. I was like, I don't care that you don't care. We're going to go see Indiana Jones. And we watched it. And it was good. I liked it. But like, he's 80 years old, Harrison Ford. And it, like, you can tell that he's 80 years old. So like when Indiana Jones runs in this movie, he's like kind of like hobbling back and forth. And I've never felt more like identified on screen as I did during this movie, because everything in my body is like just like sore and breaking down slowly. Somebody posted in the Discord a meme about turning your neck too fast and hurting yourself. And like this morning, that is like my whole, everything above my shoulders is just like crackly and like sore and doesn't move the way that it should. And it's causing headaches. And like, I can feel like if I push on my hips hard enough, like I can pop them back to where they used to be. I don't know about you guys. I'm older than you guys, but my body is just rigid and frail. And it felt kind of nice watching an 80-year-old man do some shit. Not as good as he used to, but still attempt to do some shit and like survive. Okay, let's go into our super positives. All right, because
wait, Adam, one more.
What's...
One more movie. Would you say? Does he got one more Indiana Jones?
No.
movie?
No. We're done.
God,
No. They
We're
say
done.
he's retired. 5 years from now, they wheel his ass
He's
out.
85. He's just like, no, not possible.
I'm
He's
surprised.
done.
I'm surprised
wanna
he
be
didn't
sure.
like write it into his agreement to make this movie that Indy doesn't die at the end.
You know, they do
spoil
not Han Solo it. They
freeze his brain at the end.
just super positive. Sounds like this.
Mega Dad's being super positive.
Every month we kick off our episode talking about old movie stars and the things that we're feeling super positive about, things that are bringing joy to our lives. I'm going to have Antonio start. I've been talking too much about old men.
Damn.
My favorite topic. Antonio, what's making you happy?
Will is back. Other than that, things have been pretty shitty. I was hoping you weren't gonna go with me, because like in my head, I'm like, let's see, how's my life been? And it's been shit. So I'm in Chicago, and the air quality reached like near poison levels and all that.
Yeah.
So I had the air conditioning unit, because there's no vents up here for our central air. It couldn't be turned on. It would just, there was soot and like smoke clearly visible as you looked outside. So I had to finish work for a couple hours without the air conditioning. I'm like, this is not working.
Oh,
I'm
man.
choking to death. So let me just finish up. And then I got heat exhaustion.
You're just
So
up there
I've
in your
been-
banana hammock, just sweating it out.
I started to like shake, and I'm like, what is happening to me? So like I avoided heat stroke, I think. And that has been the last couple days. My daughter's sick. The Supreme Court's lost its fucking mind. It's just, it's the 4th of July, which means the true assholes are out. You know how I know someone's an asshole? They have an American flag somewhere.
Somewhere.
Like anywhere. On your fucking car, on your house. You're wearing a shirt that has a big eagle on it. Like, it's just like, fuck you, man. You racist piece of shit. Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm sorry. That was my hot take. I've spent it.
That's
right.
that's the wrong segment, Antonio.
Yeah.
This was super positive. You're happy Will's back.
Oh my God. Skip.
Will, what's your super positive? God, I hope it's better than that one.
I hope so too. We'll see. So before my crash, I was living in a very old, outdated piece of shit rental property. I'm not there anymore. That was part of it, but I'm not going to go into that. I now have access to a fart fan for the first time in God knows how many years. This house I was living in predated the fart fan. And they are a gift, a joy.
William, I'm so sorry to interrupt. I'm not familiar with the fart fan. Could you?
It's like
could you
a
explain that?
fan in the bathroom for when your shit stinks too bad, and it like sucks the air out of the bathroom.
Oh, the exhaust for like when you're taking a shower and all the heat and steam is.
But I think
expelled
Will's
out.
primary
that's
usage
definitely
of
what people
is-
use it for.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm
Oh.
thankful for the shower exhaust port.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good. Life's small victories. The bidet, the fart fan.
Will, do you have a
these are
bidet?
things-
No bidet. There's no bidet.
No.
Antonio,
For
you have
$30.
one, right?
I had to try it out. I was curious. I was bidet curious for a long time, and I decided to just embrace it. Fantastic. Can't recommend it enough. Mine was like $30-$40.
Not to pivot
on
from
Amazon.
Will's super positive to washing my asshole, but man, I for real want to get one of these things. I'm trying to
You
convince
still
my
don't
wife.
have
about it.
one? Oh, dude, your life. Think about your life.
I'll tell you what's stopping me. Like, if I get one and I love it, which everyone who's ever used one tells me I will.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's just like, what do I do when I'm not at home anymore?
Oh,
Never
that's
shit.
terrible.
Yeah, it's like, what
It's-
happens
it's
if I
really
have to shit at Target or something? Like,
Like, imagine like a very large hummingbird just lightly licking your,
Yeah.
like
yeah, see,
Like,
now I don't want one
lightly-
anymore.
see it, but it's like
Hummingbirds
cool.
are sharp, Antonio.
It's very like just the tongue of it. It's really good.
So it's gonna take an hour.
I mean, there's settings. I don't want to get into it. I don't think we should talk about ass cleaning this much this early into the show. But
We're
if
only
You
like
opened
10
this
minutes
door,
into the show,
Antonio.
man.
the only problem I have with the day is the guilt because I'm cheating like on my wife, like every time.
You've
go,
got
I
that
have-
sucker cranked up way too hard.
I am just loving it. I'm telling you, it's my best friend. It's my lover. It's everything. The days.
So the fart fan, huh? Will? The great
Yeah, let's go with that. It's great.
fart fan. All right.
Yeah.
My super positive, since Antonio stole mine, was going to be Will's back. And I talked about it a little bit before, but this year I have gone to so many damn movies. I have been to the
Nice.
movie theater over and over and over and over again. My kids are of an age where they can go and not be a complete freaking terror and nuisance. They don't bother anybody around them. They sit really good or they go to sleep, which I don't care because like that's the only way I'm going to the movies these days is if I take them with me. As long as they shut up and I can enjoy the film, I'm happy. Stick a slushie in their hand, they can do whatever they want as long as they're quiet. Indiana Jones, we saw Across the Spider-Verse, which was like mind-blowing. We saw The Little Mermaid, which, okay. But I just love going to the movies. We're going to Mission Impossible in a couple weeks. I'm so excited for Mission Impossible because I have the biggest man crush on Tom Cruise, and you wouldn't even believe it. I love the summer blockbuster season, and this one seems to be really just churning out movie after movie that I want to see. So very
Do you
excited.
go standard or do you class it up in like a IMAX or one of these?
Yeah, how deeply mortgaged are you, Adam?
Oh God, I'm so broke. I'm so fucking broke. We don't have an IMAX, but so the theater is like 5 minutes from my house. We live really close to a theater, and they have one of these. It's not IMAX, but it's like halfway to
The sheet-
IMAX. They call it
the seat shape?
XDX.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. No,
Um,
that's the same. I mean, not the same.
It's
but
not the same, but
it's
it's like generic.
Yeah.
It's like the malto meal of IMAX. You know, it's like these are Cheerios, but they're Tostios. You know,
the Wish.com IMAX.
Yeah. So I'm spending more than I want to, but I love it so much. You know, I was so worried that when COVID happened, we wouldn't be able to go back to theaters, and I've never been to the theater more in my life than I have this year. So
We were
enjoying
going
it.
all the time before the vid, like the AMC Pass thing. We were doing that. We were going 3 times a week, and haven't been back. But since we had our babies, so it'll be some time before I
Yeah,
go back.
that throws a wrench in that.
Yeah.
it really
I haven't
does.
watched anything other than a cartoon in quite a long time.
I think I need to find a new theater or something because I don't have these magical experiences that Adam does.
No,
I've been once this year and had just a wretched experience.
you got to go to like the
Yeah.
very first showing. Like the second the theater opens, you have to get in there. This is my experience where I live. Obviously, everyone's gonna have a different experience.
Right,
But
yeah.
I find if I go to that early show, it's good times. Good times.
Less farts. in
Less
the air.
farts. All right. Now we're going to move on to our Megadag's dictionary term. We're spending so much. This is great getting reacquainted with Will, but this episode is already going long. I can see where this is going. Every month, our crack team of researchers scours the internet for a new term for us to use throughout the course of the episode to make us more identifiable and cooler with the kids. This month's term, I have a feeling we're gonna use this quite a bit. I'm desperately trying to find my drum roll sound effect, and it's like this. This month's dictionary term is boobs.
Yay!
Boobs, but not in the way that you think, because apparently the kids say boobs now as a way of when something is amazing or it's winning or it's outstanding, it's boobs. This movie was so great, it was boobs, man. I saw Indiana Jones, that 80-year-old man, he's boobs.
Harrison Ford is the tits, yo.
Yeah,
it's like saying it's the tits.
Yeah, it's
back in the day, these kids, everything comes back around. They're just stealing our stuff. Will, I'm sick of it.
What's old is new again. All right.
They can have it. It's fine.
Boobs is the new tits.
Antonio, when we use boobs, you hear that sound. What happens when we use our boobs a lot in this episode? What are we going to get for using our boobs?
Even on our podcast, we can't say what happens when you use boobs. I can't do that. My daughter's going to listen to this in like 23 years or some shit like that.
She'll have to say.
Well, that sounds like future Antonio's problem.
Whoever uses the word boobs in casual conversation throughout the show, the point leader will get their toenails clipped by me. That's right. I'm flying out. All expenses paid on the Megadad's credit card, and I'm going to clip your toenails.
Clipped and filed?
No, that's extra.
What if you win?
No, I'm a classy girl.
If you win, we want a YouTube short of you clipping your toenails. For all the foot fetish people.
There we go. Here we go.
All right. Before we press start on the games that we've been playing, I want to make sure and remind everybody that everything we do here at Megadads is made possible because of your support. So please go to patreon.com/Megadads and help us create toenail clipping content, I guess. That's what we're leaning with. All right. There's so many games to talk about. And
too many.
I have had a halfie for the last couple of weeks because I've been excited to talk about this game with Will. It's on his list. He's going first. Let's talk about Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy XVI is an action RPG developed and published by Square Enix, and it's available now on the PS5. I've been playing it. Will's been playing it. Antonio's been drooling over it in the Discord. Will, take it away. How is Final Fantasy 16?
It's really fucking good.
It's really fucking good.
I honestly had a little bit of an issue with it, like to begin with, when things are very start and stop and start and stop, and there's like a small sequence, a small cinematic sequence every other room. It feels like.
Yep.
But it has gotten a lot better about that. It's smoothed out quite a bit. And it's just letting me have fun with this kick-ass battle system that they've got going on.
Talk about this battle system, because boy, this is the thing that I think is dividing people the most. Is like, is this Final Fantasy?
So I don't remember his title. He's the guy in charge of the battle system. He is a veteran of the Devil May Cry series, and it shows in the best way possible, honestly. I think my favorite pet name for this game is Devil May Clive. You've got the fairly basic sword stuff is easy to do. I'm really coming to grips with trying to mix and match these special icon abilities that you get kind of as you go on. Trying to find the ones that I like, the ones I don't like, because you can only have 2 per icon.
Yeah, you assign them so it's basically like the summons are now abilities or spells based on Ifrit or Shiva or things like that. And you assign those a slot, and then you toggle back and forth between them, right?
Yeah. I've still only got 2, which I'm a little cross about, because I should have 3, but they're making 2 share, and that's bullshit. Adam, do you know what I'm talking
I
about?
know what you're talking about. Yep, I know what you're talking about.
That's horse shit. That's horse shit. They shouldn't be sharing.
Can I
They
ask
are
a
very
question
different.
about that?
Yeah, of
so
course.
like I don't mind Devil May Cry's combat and combos and all of that. I just found them difficult to use in the moment.
This is way easier. The skill floor, is way lower here.
Because I in action games I never wanted to memorize the XX circle down X. You know, like that whole thing. Like ironically, we'll talk later about this fighting game I'm into, but I was hoping that wasn't the case. So it's not too difficult to pull off.
What I love so much about this game is they give you what are they called? Accessories. They give you accessories, and if you use the right accessory, it will completely simplify whatever you're struggling with. So there's an accessory for combos, and it's like if you don't want to do the combos, you put this on your character, and you just press square, and he'll do all the cool shit. And my son was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" And I'm like, "No, I want to have a little bit more control." But they have one for dodging. So if you're having trouble with the timing in this game, you put this dodging accessory on, and they have one that'll auto dodge. They'll have one that'll slow things down more, so you have more time. And they have these accessories for all these different parts of the combat system, so that whatever you're struggling with or whatever you don't want to worry about, you just put that on, and it simplifies that aspect. Or you can just, not put any of them on and make it more hardcore. I love that. I think that's super smart.
Yeah. I'm having a lot of fun with it. They're giving me more and more stuff to play with. And like everything is building on top of itself in a really nice way. The music is incredible.
Thank God.
Soken is so good. Like all the tracks are good. I would say like 90% of boss fights feel like they could be final boss fights.
They look so epic.
Everything is just absolutely sick and incredibly just nuts and cinematic, and they're amazing.
Yeah, I only watched the demo, and there were like a few what I thought were boss fights, and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
Like, how do they do it with you go from combat to like a cinematic, like not even a QTE, but it's like you're still fighting, but then they incorporate what used to be a cutscene back in our day.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, then it goes right back almost seamlessly into combat. How are they doing this? Explain this to me. Like, what trickery is this?
Final Fantasy has been moving towards, really for the last couple of generations, just be more and more cinematic, more and more intense. And I still think like 7 Remake was one of the most stylish and well-directed action sequences that I've seen in games in a long time. That that game felt like a movie, it was like an anime at times, but you were playing it.
Yeah.
And this game does a lot of that too. And just everything feels big and grand and epic, even down to like little fights with like commanders in the army that aren't really big guys. They have no special powers, but they make them seem so epic and intense.
Okay. Yeah, so like the tougher, quote unquote, regular guys who still get that stagger bar underneath their health. So like you can knock them down to half health, use an ability to slam them down and just rail on them for several uninterrupted minutes.
I can see why they decided to make this a one controllable protagonist game, because the combat, you just feel like an absolute badass all the time. And while I think 7 Remake did a fantastic job of you being able to switch back and forth between characters, I really am starting to understand why they put such a focus on Clive, because as he accumulates more power and more, he's like just an unstoppable force. And I can only imagine what he's going to be at the end of this game.
Oh my God,
as he's accumulated more and more weapons and icons and things like that. So it's definitely different. He has party characters with him, but you never control them, and they aren't quite as powerful as him, and they don't put as much a focus on them, but they're really cool. Like, I love the Cid in this game.
Oh my God, the Cid is
outstanding.
amazing. This is like my favorite Cid.
It's way different, and I think this series has established that it can be anything. It can be a sci-fi space adventure with aliens coming and meteors and people with powers and multiverses, or it can be this, which is like a straight up medieval adventure with dragons and shit, you know? And that's cool. And it offers a little bit of something for everybody. And I love it. I think it's great.
I'll say this: I do prefer that 7 remake style of combat, though, a little bit. Like they could add more stuff to it for sure, but I do like switching between party members in a way. I understand why we can't do that here, because Clive is absolutely the special one,
right?
TM or whatever. But 7 Remake still has a lot more customization to it with materia.
It's
and
more
things.
RPG, yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think you could take the 7 Remake and gussy up some of the moves and stuff that you do, and I think that would be the real sweet spot for me.
Well, that's Final Fantasy XVI. It's outstanding. It's out now. And I'm going out of town this weekend, and I'm going to have withdrawals not being able to play it.
Bring it.
All right, I'm going to move on to another game that I have been playing. Switching gears, I've been playing so many damn games lately. I'm going to go really quick through these 2 games. I've got a VR game and a horror game. I'm going to start with the Poopy Pants game. This is Layers of Fear. Layers of Fear is an adventure horror title developed and published by Bloober Team, and it's available now on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. Now, not too long ago, I played Layers of Fear VR on PSVR. I reviewed it on the channel, and it was the scariest game I have ever played in my life. And to the point where I didn't even think I could finish that game for review, because I've never played horror in VR. I've always played horror on the TV. And when you're playing horror on the TV, you can do those things where, you keep the lights on, or you kind of don't look in the corner while you're playing.
Through your fingers a little bit.
Peeking through your fingers. But in VR, like, you have no choice. You have to be in it, right? So I wasn't that game terrified me to no end. Layers of Fear 2023 is an anthology game where it takes the 2 mainline Layers of Fear games and it puts them in a package with like a narrative through line. So you start the game as this author who has gone to this lighthouse to sit down and channel her muse and write these books. And what you end up writing is the game Layers of Fear and Layers of Fear 2. And it's done in a way where it's remastered, so it's like remade, and there's some new tweaks, there's some new additions to it, but it's those 2 games put together with this intermittent author's story talking about how and why she wrote these stories. So it's kind of a clever way of remastering those games and putting them in a collection. Couple of things. First, nowhere near as scary, because I'm not forced to be in the game as I am in VR. It's still scary, but there is something about in VR when you're playing this game, it plays so much on your perception. So this franchise is all about psychological horror. It's not about killing monsters and survival horror. It's about shadows in the corner and things that might be around the bend that you may or may not be there, noises, something's over your shoulder maybe, but you turn around and it's not there, and then you turn around again and it is. So this game really plays on perception. One of the things that it likes to do is change your environment as you go. So you're in a house, you go through a door, there's like a dead end, you turn around, you go back through the door, and all of a sudden you're in a completely different room. So like the house is shifting as you go.
Oh, so that thing PT did?
It's a lot of inspiration from PT. A lot of inspiration from PT.
The Room did that as well.
What's that?
The Room. I forget the main line.
Silent Hill 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all first person perspective, and that in VR is just way more effective. There's one scene to spoil something minorly. One scare.
Spoil away. I'm not
touching scare in this game.
I can't do this type of stuff.
There's a point in this game where you go into an elevator, and it's one of those old-timey elevators where it's got you pull the metal shutters, but it's like a wireframe metal shutter. You know, you can see through it. And you're going down this elevator, and you can see floor by floor as you go. And there's shit, little scary girls walking at you and stuff. But then the elevator stops, and you can't get out. And the only way to get out is to go through the panel in the roof, right? So you look up, and there's nothing there, and you pull the panel down. And then you pull something to step up on, and then you look up again, and there's this fucking, ring, grudge-looking thing with long black hair sticking its head through the panel. And that kind of thing in VR will legit make you shit your pants and your blood go cold.
You look up and Mabel's right there, like...
Seeing that on a TV screen is still scary, but it isn't 3D and coming at you, and you didn't actively look up and go through that motion. You know what I mean? Like my thumbstick made me look up. Whereas in VR, I had to slowly look up knowing that's where I had to go. And the experience of doing that physically is just so much more intense than it is on the screen.
VR and horror games, man, they go together like chocolate and asshole.
That game made me realize I don't think I could ever play another VR horror game again because I was wrecked. So I am playing through this game a lot faster and more easily than that VR experience. It's a lot less intense. I like it a lot. It's very abstract. If you are a person that likes Silent Hill, you'll probably like this. It's more about what a person's mind and experience does to wreck them. It's more about turning slowly insane and having the sins of your past come and manifest at you. It's not Resident Evil. There's no zombies or mutants or things like that. You don't get any machine guns. It's a pure psychological horror trip. I enjoy it quite a bit, but I do feel like it's just a step back because it doesn't have that VR.
But at the same time, it's more playable because it's
more
not
playable.
The VR.
Yeah.
Like the only thing stopping you from progressing is you and your own intelligence or whatever it is to solve puzzles, and then your fear of moving forward.
Yeah.
But can you die as well? Are there any fail states? Because I know some of these, like, there is something there, and if you mess up, the thing catches you.
Yep.
There's no combat, but is that a thing in this game?
That is a thing in this game.
Okay.
But like all great games, and we were just talking about it with Final Fantasy, there are toggles and switches, so you can put in a no-fail state if you really want to. If you die in the game, it just kind of penalizes you and sends you back to a previous checkpoint. You don't actually die because there's nothing in this game is real. It's all in your head. But it's, I love how games respect the player these days. Like I love that a person who's not good at combat can play Final Fantasy XVI and have a great experience. I love a person that wants to play on easy mode where you can't die can play Layers of Fear and just experience the story. I think that's one of the best things that gaming has done this last generation is just put all these options towards the player that you can do this how you want to and still have a great time.
Would you say this game is boobs?
This game is boobs.
Do you give it one boob or two boobs?
Oh, this game gets a full 2 boobs.
Okay.
I haven't finished it yet, so I don't know what cup size it is, but it's definitely boobs. Definitely boobs. All right, real quick, one more game here. Unless anybody has anything else they want to add.
Wait, Will wanted to.
I was gonna say, can Final Fantasy 16 be like 3 boobs, like Total Recall?
Like Total Recall, the 3 boob lady.
Ooh, that'd be so fun.
Which one? Which one's the best boob?
3, 2.
That'd be middle, right?
Everybody's got their preferences,
The king, the biggest one, right? The king boob, or you like the one that's weird.
The best.
We don't want an
part
odd size
is
one.
that each one, has its own, artistic differences. So you get to choose which boob is your favorite.
I pictured Will in a smoke jacket and like us like with brandies, like with cigars, just discussing fine art, but it's just all titties, and we're like, this one speaks to me on a deeper level. Sorry.
Now these. Okay,
Let
go
me show
on.
you my
You're back,
special
Will. Glad you're back.
What's your game?
Oh my god. I can talk about it.
Pixel Ripped 1978 is a VR action adventure developed by Arvore Immersive Experiences, published by Atari, and it's available on the PSVR 2 and
No, it
PC VR.
It's
All
not
right.
published by Atari. That's not real anymore.
Published by Atari. And boy, do they tell you.
Published by the homunculus that is currently wearing Atari's skin.
Who's the dude that ran Atari back? Nolan Bushnell? Is it
I don't
Nolan?
know, Grandpa. I don't know Atari shit.
If you don't know Atari shit, you might not enjoy this game. Pixel Ripped 1978. So this is the third entry in the Pixel Ripped series. The premise of this franchise is you are playing as a video game character named Dot, who travels through time and across video game generations, battling her nemesis, the Cyblin Lord, who's like this goblin guy. And you do this
like a goblin, but he's in a computer, so he's a Cyblin.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
And you do this by finding special gamers and creating a bridge between the video game world and the real world. The cool part about this game, it's broken up into three different playable sections. One, you are the character within the video game, think Tron or Wreck-It Ralph, where you are in a digital world and you're kind of playing the game behind the scenes. So like if you think of like a Super Nintendo game, imagine you know what Super Mario Brothers looks like on the screen, but imagine if you were in Super Mario Brothers behind the curtain, what it would look like in real life. Still 8-bit, still blocky, but like in a 3D space, and you can kind of see behind the curtain there. Think Wreck-It Ralph is probably the best reference point.
So like that Paper Mario on Wii where you could change the perspective?
Kinda, yeah. You're just in the game, but you see it from the perspective of a character in the game, not as a player. The second section of this game is playing it as the player. You are in VR, you are controlling the player who is playing the video game within the video game. So I'm holding with my VR controllers, I'm holding a joystick or a gamepad, looking at a TV where the game is playing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is this the thing where like you're playing but like you're not supposed to be, and like every once in a while like your mom will stick her head in?
Yes.
Or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So in this particular game, you're playing Atari games. Atari games are notoriously not that great. Think Pitfall, E.T., Pong, right? So you're like, why would I want to play a game where I'm playing those games? Well, what Pixel Rip does that's so cool is it introduces elemental distractions, like environmental distractions and obstacles while you're playing the game. So, for example, there's one part in this game where you are playing a version of Centipede that is not retail ready, and you're trying to decode it and debug it. So you're playing Centipede, and as you're playing the game, it'll prompt you to swat the side of the TV with your free hand, and then the Centipede will pop out of the TV into the real space around it. So you're playing the game on the joystick, looking at the TV, but you're also having to swat these centipedes that are floating around you in virtual space.
When you're looking at these TVs and you're playing it in the third whatever person, I don't know how to describe it.
It's first person.
Yeah, it's first
So
person.
when you're looking at the screen, how far are you? Because I've had mixed things in VR where I'm looking at something in front of me, that like, is it sharp or like how does that work? You have no problem seeing.
It's close enough, but it's a CRTV, so it's fuzzy and it's got the scan lines and everything.
I don't know, man.
And
I don't know. CRTV through.
It's
VR.
so weird. So I was playing this. The game takes place across the 80s and the 70s, and you progressively go backwards in time until you get to 1978. There's one sequence where you're playing on this big tube TV, and the screen is a CRT. It's a CRT tube. And you remember how those TVs used to round at the end? Like the glass would round? They simulate that perfectly. Whoa. And I spent so much time in VR space just looking and watching and tilting my head and watching that screen, the glass warp the screen behind it, because it's like it's right fucking there. And I felt like I was sitting in my living room back in, 1982 when I had an Atari. And it's so cool. It's so trippy. But the third segment, I'm spending too much time talking about this game. The third segment is when the game that you are playing fully comes out of the TV into the environment that you're playing it in. There's one battle in this game against the Cyberlin Lord where you're playing Breakout. I don't know if you guys remember Breakout, where you have the little paddle and you move the bar across the screen and the ball bounces up and it shoots and it knocks out the little bricks at the top of the screen. Yeah. You're doing Breakout, but it's in full 3D outside of the TV coming at you in VR. So the block and the paddle is right up close to you. The bad guy is off in the distance in perspective, and you're bouncing the ball towards him. And it's like, it's Breakout. It's one of the most simple games ever, but in VR, in full 3D. And as you're doing it, you have to grab things on your desk and throw them at the boss in the distance to knock his shields down. So you're playing with the paddle, like the old game, but you're also then throwing things at him in real life. So they add all of these real life elements to enhance these classic game experiences. And it's so cool and clever. I really enjoy this series. The last one was 1995, and it was all about like the Super Nintendo and Genesis era. The previous one was all about Game Boy. I really like it. It's just super clever, super quick, like 5-hour playthrough time. If you have VR and if you have a love of nostalgia in gaming, you're probably really going to dig this.
How close do you think you could get to this experience with a trip to like an old vintage used game store and a stop by, say, an LSD dealer?
You were alive in 1978?
I was not. I was born in 1980.
Okay.
So I did have an Atari. I do remember a lot of these games. And yeah, it's a trip. It's a good time.
Nostalgia's a hell of a drug, Adam.
It really is. So is LSD, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Diablo IV is an action hack and slash RPG developed and published by Blizzard. It's available for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. You played the beta of this on the last episode you were on, Antonio. Tell us your final verdict for Diablo IV.
Diablo 4 is definitely two boobs, like at least a C cup. And I wasn't expecting to be addicted by this game. I have tried Diablo 2, Diablo Resurrected, 3, and I was not pulled in, but the gameplay loop of just making you feel really powerful against hordes of enemies and just destroying everything as bombastically as possible, that really got me this time. And again, I wasn't
What was the
expecting.
difference?
I'm trying to figure that out every time I play. There's the little carrot on the stick of, okay, if you play more, there's a random chance, either via, one of 8 different methods, from just killing things to finding a chest to earning this and buying that you can get a roll, you can get an item that is more rare, and that these items will actually dramatically change your power level. So it feels different. The game feels different every once in a while. And later on in the game, when you min-max or basically optimize and you mix one item with another, then all of a sudden the enemies you poison will now also spread that poison, or will now also explode, or will now, this mixes with this and reacts with that. And now all of a sudden I have the powers of a bear that will like instantly kill 20 enemies in front of me. And you just have
the powers of a bear, or you have an actual bear?
there's a druid class, which is what I am. I've finally gotten to the first cap, so level 50, and you turn into a bear in an instant with something called werebear skills. You just hit the button and you will maul the enemies in front of you, and you switch from a human looking character to a bear in like a split second. You like warp, and then you do the move, and then you warp back sometimes after a few seconds. And it's crazy. You can turn into a bear or a werewolf or summon lightning. The skills themselves of what you're doing to kill these hordes of enemies is extremely interesting. Again, you can summon 2 rocks out of the ground that smack together like 2 big hands would smack a fly and just crush like together. And you can summon a boulder or, you know, a blizzard storm and stuff like that. And it looks good. And there's just a power fantasy going on of you are so powerful and you're defeating hundreds of enemies a second, and it's wild. And every once in a while there's a bigger enemy that's more of a challenge and you have to think more, get out of the way of telegraphed attacks. I'm not sure what it is, what really got its hooks in me. It's just you turn your brain off for the most part and you just grind through enemies, earn the next thing, earn a cosmetic that makes you look cool. And it's just got me. Again, this is one of the 3 games I'm playing right now that just I can't stop thinking about. When I'm not playing, I want to play more. And I wasn't like that with any hack and slash like dungeon crawler. I'm like, so why are we doing this?
As someone who's never played Diablo before, is essentially the elevator pitch this is Gauntlet for today?
Gauntlet, very advanced, a lot faster. The graphics obviously are night and day, but yeah, it's a very bombastic experience. Lots of things exploding. Oh yeah, there's guts and blood and like demons and all sorts of shit. Like you are in it. The storyline's actually pretty good. Every chance they get, they're trying to say, if you were a human being in a world like this and this like crazy shit was going on, what would your life be like? So there's simple farmers who
it would be over because I would be dead.
Yeah, you would be dead. Like, what's the life expectancy of this place when I walk 10 feet, there's like some demon that's gonna rip my guts out. It's a sad existence, but you see people suffering, you see people compromise their morals, and you know, why are we doing this? They get a lot more deeper with the story every once in a while. The environments are surprisingly varied. Like, it's not just a dungeon. It's not just a canyon. It's like every once in a while, it's like, whoa, this place that I'm fighting in looks cool. This enemy that I'm fighting, all of a sudden they look like giant bugs instead of like warthogs, or, you know, zombies instead of whatever. And it looks cool. Not as much variety as I'd like, because then you're fighting thousands of these every, you know, semi-open world segment. But it has a lot going for it. It's a lot of replayability because every class plays very differently. You know, you're just a long-range magic user. You're somebody who gets up close and personal and hits things with an axe instead of like doing magic. But they all have a combination, and it's good. I would recommend it for families if it wasn't for the dark tone, because it's very simple, and you know, you just kind of have to keep spamming the buttons essentially.
If it wasn't for the demonic overtones and the graphic violence and the bleak existence, perfect game for families.
Yeah, well, Minecraft Legends was like
so
that.
It's like it's multiplayer all on the same screen, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I play online. I don't know if there's local co-op at all. I think they got rid of it.
Probably not.
If you play online and you're in a group, you will get pulled eventually with your group, but you can
So if you don't live with your family, then it's good
Keep
for
going.
your family.
I'm sorry, you just stopped. I didn't understand. Yes.
Well, yeah,
perfect for your family. You just can't live with them because it's got it online only.
They have to be old enough to have moved out.
Got it.
To even play the game in the first place.
Maybe your estranged wife.
Yeah, so I did hear, I have a friend of ours who told me a story about like the mom was playing like all the time, like throughout her life, you know, just playing. Then they had a kid, and then she's like here playing it with their very young son and like sitting them down and letting them play with it. So that's going to be your choice to be a bad parent or not. But like the fans of the series seem to have liked it quite a bit. It's an evolution, not a, you know, in a small way, on different aspects. Not like Yeah, I would say it's not a reinvention, not a huge revolution, I should say. But I really like it, and it's either for you or not. So if it goes on sale eventually or whatever, go ahead and try it. But I really want to recommend it to anyone who's a fan of the genre. You're gonna like it.
That's Diablo 4. You have one more game that you want to talk about, and
Yes,
another one that
please.
you played the beta of just
Yes.
recently.
Yeah.
Let's hear about Street Fighter VI. Street Fighter VI is a fighting game published by Capcom, and it's available now on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Tell me about this world mode. This weird-ass world mode. That's what I want. Give me that sweet candy.
Street Fighter 6 are two perky tits all up in your face. I'm sorry, they're boobs. So this game is all boob. I want to share this with Will.
All
'cause Will's
boob.
playing. Will,
Mhm.
talk about this game, please. Talk
Will, you
about it
playing
with
this?
me.
Yeah,
Of
no,
course
I have
he
Street
is.
Fighter 6.
Yeah.
I didn't
You
put
guys
it on
playing
my list
together? You
'cause I
beating the
figured-
crap out of each other?
We have not. Like
yet.
he's scared. Like Will will not go toe to toe with me. He keeps avoiding me on the streets. I see him. I say, "Hey, let's do this." He just walks on by. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go. Feed my cat," and just will not go toe to toe with me. But I want to hear Will's impression because we haven't gotten a big chance to talk about it.
All right, so World Tour ended up pulling me in a lot more than I thought it would. Because I'm usually not much for these create a character things in like fighting games. It usually ends up feeling kind of weird for me. But this one really pulled me in. It's fairly simple. You have a couple of big areas that you can really run around in, and you can fist fight 90% of the people on the street.
Yes.
From old ladies to street vendors.
That's what Adam wanted. He
Yeah.
sold. He wanted the old lady fight.
You can punch
You
an
can
old
use-
lady?
Yeah, you can like blindside an old lady if you want. If it's a character you can fight, you can either walk up to them and like challenge them formally, or you could just do like
Straight up sucker punch an old bitch?
you could straight up sucker punch an old bitch, yeah.
Yes!
Game of the year.
And then it knocks off a chunk of their health respectively and stuff like that.
God, that's amazing.
It's really good.
Are there children?
No. Well,
Dang.
not that you can fight.
Ah,
Not that you can fight.
maybe DLC.
Maybe. We'll see. Gradually you unlock you create a character, and then you kind of unlock different fighting styles to lay over it. So you can kind of pick who your core moveset is for, and then you've got special moves from everybody as you go, and you can mix and match those. You're not restricted there. So if I want to use Chun-Li's like basic stuff, but I want to do a Hadouken or something, I can still do that.
Cool.
It takes a long time to get all the different fighters open and all the different skill sets open, which I guess I get, but I do wish it was a little faster. Or if maybe you had a choice at the beginning, so that if you knew who you wanted going in, you could do that, but that's not how it works. World Tour mode is the mode that sold me on the modern control scheme. Because Street Fighter VI has two control schemes. It's got classic and modern. Classic is, quarter circle punch, and then you do the move. Modern is a button is dedicated to specials, and then you can do it's like Smash. Like right and the special button is one thing, left special another thing. So it does limit you a little bit, but in a mode where you're constantly getting new special moves all the time, and you can mix and match, drop in, drop out, stuff like that, it's just so much easier to keep track of it that way instead of having to also remember the inputs for all of this shit. And yeah, because I learned fairly quickly that was not how this was going to work for me. Not for all this mixing and matching. I still don't know that it's like my preferred way to play, but it did get me to use the modern control scheme and really develop an appreciation for it. Sorry.
How deep are you into World Tour? Then?
I finished it.
Whoa.
Yeah, I
that
finished
is
World
very
Tour.
impressive.
I like
So
how
hi-
he just kind of casually shook that off. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
like,
I
oh, yeah,
finished
I'm done
that
with it.
world.
No,
I
tour."
that
finished it.
takes a long time. That takes a long time.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's literally
took
the
me
entire
yeah.
world.
So
Well, two areas you can run around it. Everywhere else is just like a screen.
Oh, that sucks. You see, they didn't sell it that way, and initially they weren't clear on that. So you have the city, Metro City, you run around in, as well as what was it, China? Or?
No, it's the fictional Nashal or something,
Oh, okay.
which is an Asia. I don't know where it's supposed to be. I think it's supposed to be in Asia
North
somewhere.
Africa or something.
No, it's supposed to be in Asia somewhere. But either way, whatever. You can run around there, and you can run around in Metro City, and you get a big open area to kind of explore. But then all these other places are really just stops with different Street Fighter characters in them to meet them and get their skill sets. And you can buy some special items at each one. So most of the list of destinations are just one screen areas. And that's a little disappointing, but I do I do understand not giving big areas to all of these different places.
Yeah.
Because I found Metro City and Nishal to be large enough, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're perfectly fine. You can't go absolutely everywhere all at once. You do have to progress a little bit through the story to get some of this stuff, or to either get into certain areas, or to even access it just at night. And then you can switch it whenever you want. And at night, it's filled with a lot more aggressive enemies who wear cardboard boxes on their heads.
Nice.
For reasons.
I don't know why, but like when I played the demo, I loved that when you fought somebody, they had like a level, and like, oh, this is a level 5 grandma, this is a level 10
Yeah, that still
mime.
happens, yeah.
And I don't know, I just like that the characters are like RPG-ish, like harder or not as hard, and then you fight like 2 at once and all that stuff. Like I just love it.
There is
grandmas
some-
at the same time.
Yeah. Oh my God, Adam!
Everybody's
Three
dream is 2 grandmas at
refrigerators
once.
on
Please make that the title of this.
Two
Two grandmas at the same time. Okay, so taxi cab confession time for Hypecaster here. I didn't play the World Tour mode once I got the full copy. I went straight to the online stuff. I've been researching my character. I'm Chung Li, and I've been learning basic moves, how to counter. I learned frame data. I've just been playing ranked. And the great thing about this is the more I wanted to learn, the more it was rewarding me. And I was climbing the online ranks. I've hit kind of a wall right now because I need to like practice. And I'm not a fighting game person. I haven't played many. I haven't gotten this deep ever.
Sir, you just said frame data. You're a fighting game person
It's
now.
gotten me in. I am changed now. I am post vampire bloodletting bite. I am now walking in the night as a creature preying on the normies. This is so fun. And the great thing that I've been doing all sorts of content around Megadads, trying to convince people that it's really not that difficult to dip your toe in and that you should give it a try. And I still do. Play the demo, try to get in there. The thing that is great about the online mode is if you want to get competitive, the ranking system does an excellent job at giving you a opponent that's around your same level. So as I was climbing up, I always felt like I had like about a 50-50 chance. I almost beat them, they almost beat me, and I feel like it's very fair. And that was the like big deterrent for all these fighting games for me, because I would go in online, go to rank mode, and like everybody just destroyed me because it really wasn't a good ranked
well, here's the thing. You're also in from day one.
True.
You're not walking into an established hierarchy that has filtered people down in a way that doesn't happen for a while.
It's really good. I've enjoyed myself quite a bit. I've played all the like as soon as I got the taste of what it was to like defeat a real person, it was like great. So you take your avatar that Will was mentioning that you make, and you run around the little online lobby and you see everyone else's monstrosities of their characters. And you could do like the Hadouken and flips and kicks like in the online hub. So it looks like a VR space with all these like incels everywhere. It's insane. Like it's just madness, right? And they have all these characters. You can actually fight between your custom-made character and someone else's and rank those up. But they have these little arcade cabinets, and you sit at one, and you wait for someone to come by and sit at that arcade cabinet, and then you fight. And then if whoever loses has to leave, and you have your little avatar there, like saying "yeah, yeah," and I did it, and then you just keep playing. It's great. The music, the characters, the moves, everything's satisfying. I give it titties.
Yeah, the visuals are fantastic. Everything is bright and colorful. It's what I want. I'd like to take a moment to talk about this character creator.
Do it.
You can do massively bonkers shit with it.
Yep.
It is so easy to just make a monstrosity. And some of it'll even like reward you for. So if you give your dude like longer arms or legs, they're gonna have a lot more reach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and weird.
Yeah, so if you were to say play a lot of World Tour mode, which is focused around that avatar, and you built someone, I don't know, let's say fairly reasonable physically, like someone that you would look at and say that is a human being, and then you go into the battle hub and it's like you've walked into a room of nightmare monsters. It's like, huh, I guess I didn't understand the assignment from the character creator. Because everyone here is an abomination.
So I turned on, my daughter walked in and I was playing, and she's 3, and she's like, Dada, I play with you? And she's like, she's only played Mario Kart with assist mode, which is basically holding the controller. I have video of her playing the game with the modern controls. I was trying to turn on the there's an even simpler dynamic control scheme, which
you
is
can't
literally
use that
just
in every mode though.
Yeah, so I couldn't turn it on, so I was like, whatever, here, let me just give it to her. She's doing moves. She's like hitting the buttons and like beating like Zangief like on like computer level 1, which is, super basic, but she's like throwing off moves and she's like, just like I was so proud of her. Like she's boop boop boop,
Daddy, I'm whooping ass.
People. She's like, oh, I won, I did it. I was like, this is such a heartwarming moment. But they do have a dynamic, super, 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 super simple control scheme that you can dip into for someone who just wants to mess around. And it's just like, it's a great game. I'm so glad I got it. I'm so glad that I spent the money on the copy and that I got in early, and that I'm glad that there's so much game there where it's not just going to be me going in, getting frustrated and bouncing. If I ever want to, and I'm sure I will, go to the World Tour mode. It's so good. It's as great tutorials and onboarding experience. It's just so good. I love it.
It's the most accessible fighting game that I think I've messed with. That modern control scheme opens a lot of doors. My kid is 12, and he likes the idea of playing Street Fighter. He liked the idea of playing Street Fighter V. He really genuinely enjoys playing Street Fighter VI because this modern mode opens it up to him a little bit, because he's familiar with Smash Brothers and stuff like that. He's still not great because he's 12, but he's getting somewhere, and it's letting him kind of build some of those fundamentals. It's really remarkable what they've done here.
I say it's funny. That's the third game that we've discussed this episode where they have let the player decide how they want to play with the game, and it opens it up and makes it just that much more approachable. I think that's awesome. I think that's super cool that the industry is moving in that direction where you can play this game and have it be super punishing and skill level through the roof, or hand that to your little, how old's your daughter, Antonio?
3. She's 3. She's
hand it to your 3-year-old and watch her whoop ass on Zangief.
Yep. It's so great.
I will say there is nothing as terrifying as somebody who is playing Zangief on the modern control scheme.
Oh my god,
Zangief does massive damage, but like his inputs are like, you have to like twirl the stick like 2 times in a complete circle before you do this button. Now it's just a button, and half your health bar is deleted. So it does change. There is a little bit of a bump somewhere kind of in the middle where you really have to think about it. It does change how you approach some fights, but yeah, modern Zangiefs are scary.
it's so satisfying to watch. Like my brother had a bunch of people together, like all old systems, new systems, just had like a big LAN party thing, whatever. And I brought it, and it was like 2 days after it released, and everybody was just huddled around watching the game play out, people passing the controller, and it was just an amazing experience just seeing how into it people were. Like, oh, that character looks amazing. Like when you see Zangief, like my wife would walk in and she sees his like animation when he wins, and it's just like joy inducing. He's like, it's all absurd. He's like muscles upon muscles and like steam coming out of his like nose or whatever, and it's just everything is so bright and exciting and looks great, and it's just such a stylish game. It's the Persona of fighting games, IMO.
What the fuck does that mean?
That means it's very stylish. The music, the moves, everything that's happening is incredibly entertaining to watch from a visual perspective, even if you don't have your hands on the controller. Bam.
Ringing endorsement. It's Street Fighter 6 is the Persona 5 of fighting games.
And it's all about the box too.
Put it on the box. Everybody seemed to come together at the same time anyway, even though E3 didn't happen. Funny that. And everybody had a showcase. Nintendo had a showcase, which was surprising. I think that was the most surprising, is that they had one. I didn't think they were going to have one, and just bloop, we're going to do it. And they did it. PlayStation had a showcase. Xbox had a showcase. Annapurna just had a showcase. Ubisoft had a showcase. Capcom had one, and it was fucking terrible.
Yeah, Capcom doesn't like. They have too much of their stuff in the other ones.
Yeah, they don't showcase well. Let's go around the horn here and talk about what our picks were. I want to talk about Nintendo first. So the Nintendo Direct happened, and it was my kind of jam. I am a Mario super fan. This thing had Mario galore, Super Mario Wonder, Super Mario RPG Remake. Are you freaking kidding me? Luigi's Mansion 2 is being released for the Switch, which I've never played that because I never had a 3DS. Detective Pikachu 2. I am not a Pokemon guy, but I like that movie, so I'll play that game. WarioWare. I've never played a WarioWare, but my kids were laughing their ass off during that trailer, and that looks like a good family game because it looks like it's got 2-player competitive in there.
It's going to, yeah.
And Pikmin 4, which apparently has a demo right now. I gotta download that before I take off on my trip here today, because I will be playing that. I loved the look of Pikmin 4. I liked Pikmin 3. I think the thing that Pikmin 3 did that I didn't like so much is they kind of got rid of the charming collectible aspect that Pikmin 2 had, where you would pick up like a Duracell AA battery and it would be like a fuel cell container. And that's back in full force with Pikmin 4. You're picking up real life objects as you're running around these environments. It's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, right? You're in the backyard. You're in somebody's living room now.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. I was blown away by Pikmin 4, and then they come out and say it's coming out. When the hell is this thing coming out? Like
soon?
A week or two?
Wait.
Like that.
It's really soon. I am so happy to see the return of Pikmin. Will, what did you like out of this Nintendo Direct? What was your favorite?
My favorite. My favorite is probably Super Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
Just because, man, I cannot express enough how much I hated New Super Mario Bros. As a series.
Hated? That's
Hated.
a strong word.
It was an A student turning in C work, is what it was. And I should know. It was sterile. It was sterile and devoid of a lot of personality. Like, the first one was fine. I was like, okay, a new 2D Mario, and then they just never really iterated from that.
Yeah.
This one is doing a lot of new and expressive things, and
it's so weird.
I like that the levels get fucked up.
It's so weird.
I like that the levels get fucked up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's probably going to be a lot of fun to have there.
Yeah, I think the thing that was so great about Mario Odyssey was just how weird it was, right? It was just like, this you can tell somebody else got their hands on Mario because they're just going weird with it. And this is getting even weirder. And I don't think there's enough people talking about the fact that Mario turns into a goddamn elephant. It's not an elephant suit.
No,
it's not a suit.
Yeah.
He's just a fucking elephant.
I believe I described it as an elephant in a Mario suit at that point. Yeah.
Oh, that's genius.
I think this looks outstanding. I love the visual style. It's kind of like painterly almost, or claymation-y almost, where it's like the coloring on the characters and the like super exaggerated expressions and the little pinch and pull. I'm so excited for Mario Wonder. Antonio, you notoriously published a YouTube video saying that while you thought it looked good, you thought it was a little bit underwhelming and not like a instant play, which I think that video is one of the most engaged videos we have on the channel, because everybody is lighting you up in the comment section on that video saying that you're on crack. Can you defend yourself a little bit?
I mean, I don't need to,
Apparently you do.
So the whole thing is, it's incredible how fandom works. I said, this looks great up close, but I really would like to see co-op. It's a minute video that I made. It's a short.
Yeah, that's the best part. It's a short. You were like,
right.
You were like 90% positive, and then you were just kind of like, we'll see.
Yeah. So it didn't look like, there are games that are must plays. I'm sorry, but when we talked about a lot of them, like games that this is so amazing, and let's be real, I'm excited for Wonder. It's very interesting, and I don't think that it's gonna be groundbreaking. I'm sorry.
I think what you're looking for is the next gen Mario.
If it was Odyssey 2, right, and that's what they announced, and it looked like crazy, and it had like all this new stuff, I'd be like, damn, that looks great. That's a must play. I loved Odyssey. Can't wait for more. I've been waiting for more. It had time to breathe. Beginning of the Switch, end of the Switch.
Yeah. And let me ask you
then I would have said, let's go. But come on, guys. You guys are happy with this? I mean, I'm not saying
I'm ecstatic with it. I am. This is like one of my, if not my most anticipated game.
They gave you a elephant Mario elephant, and you're like jizzing all over the screen, and I'm just like, okay, it looks good, but it doesn't look jizz-worthy.
This is iterative. This is 2D
you
Mario, but with noticeable differences from how other Mario games have been. It's literally the first time we've seen anything about it.
I know, and my excitement level at what we've seen so far is not through the roof.
Do you play multiplayer Mario with anybody in your house?
No, I don't have anyone to play with.
See,
yeah.
Okay,
and I think it's going to be co-op, which I'm going to enjoy a lot.
I
hope it's online co-op.
Let me tell you what's got me so jacked about this game. Over the last couple of months, the new thing in our house is we are playing 4-player cooperative games every night before the kids go to bed. We started it with Sackboy's Big Adventure. We're currently playing Mario 3D World, and we're going to move on to Turtles.
We played Kirby too.
And we did Kirby. I am a firm believer that experience around games is everything. Everything. How you play a game, who you play a game with, and what's going on in life at that moment as you're playing a game becomes what that game means to you. I played Sackboy: A Big Adventure a little bit by myself. It was fine. Playing that game with my whole family on the screen at once was a fucking hoot. We are having so much fun playing 3D World right now, a game that I love, but the experience of playing it now with my entire family, totally different. I'm now looking through the Switch back catalog for 4-player games because I'm having such an experience right now playing with my family. And when this trailer dropped and showed the 4-player, it was immediately just like, I knew my experience with this game was going to be fantastic because I know exactly how I'm going to play it. My wife does not play games, but playing these games with our kids totally different. I would highly recommend, if you have these games, your daughter is young enough where she could play a Mario 3D World, because, it's super easy. If they fall behind, they bubble. It's like neutered for kids, basically, right? So even if they suck at games, they can still be a part of it. I would recommend trying it. I think you might be surprised.
I want to know what the star or what the crown means over the person. Is that the first player who will pull the others? Do we know?
If we don't know for sure, if I had to guess, 3D World does this thing where at the end of every stage, it tells you everybody's individual score, and whoever has the highest gets to wear a crown.
Oh,
but it's like
okay.
it's like a tangible crown in 3D World that if you get hit, the crown falls off, and then somebody else can swipe it, and it's worth extra points at the end.
Yeah, this one didn't seem like it was physical, but like a symbol.
No, yeah, it wasn't.
As long as it has co-op, I'm gonna like it, like way more. Online co-op, even more. Like, because I want to play with other, people, like adults or whatever, like friends of mine around the world or whatever. So that would be nice. But Nintendo's kind of sometimes doesn't like online play,
kicking and screaming,
with certain things. Yeah, so I just didn't see it as a must play, but it's my most anticipated from what we saw at that direct. I just didn't think it was. When they show more, my hype level could go up, but I'm not gonna just give it to them for what we saw.
Yeah, I think I can look behind the curtain and through the trailer a little bit. I personally think it was a fantastic trailer, and I'm excited on the surface level. But I also know that what I bring to this game is as important as the game is going to bring to me, because I'm looking for that experience.
Okay, so what was your favorite, Adam?
My favorite was Wonder, as well. I thought that looked fantastic. I couldn't believe Mario RPG remake.
Right, that's crazy. Yeah,
blew my friggin' mind. Because I didn't even know that was a possibility. I didn't hear any rumors. I had no idea that was something that was working on behind the scenes. And so when that happened, I just my son, he didn't care, because it's clearly a remake of an older. It still looks like older template. It's pretty and stuff. But for me, who's played through that game and never thought I'd play that game again, I was super excited for that.
So that game, Mario RPG, has an optional secret boss against some original character that is very clearly inspired by a Final Fantasy villain. Because Square made that game. Square made the original.
Damn, you sold me.
It's like super hidden, right?
Isn't
it like super? I never found that.
Okay, I don't remember how hard it is to find him. I haven't played that game in a while. But it has one. It's like an original character. It's not like Kefka or anything. I do wonder if they'll use that character again and actually just 3D model it out, or if they'll just throw Sephiroth in it.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And that would be a decidedly lazier approach, but I think I'm okay either way. Yeah.
I'm very curious because obviously that trailer did so much effort to say, this is exactly this is this part remade. This is this part. You could.
Yeah. If you're. Sorry.
I wonder if there's anything new on top of it.
I mean, there's even. It showed part of an optional sequence where if you're supposed to go back into the castle, you've got Peach now. You're supposed to go back to the castle and let the Toads know it's fine. If you try to branch off, the other characters one by one surround Mario on all sides, and they're like, hey, we need to go to the castle, and you can say no, and then another one comes out. It's like, Mario, come the fuck on, Mario, and you no. And then Bowser comes out and yells at you, and everybody jumps a little bit. That's in this footage, so there's gonna be a lot of attention to detail. I don't know that new stuff is really necessary, to be honest.
I'm curious why they dropped the subtitle.
Yeah, I was just.
I am also curious about that.
Superstar Saga,
Seven
Star, whatever.
7 legendary stars, Legends of the Seven
Legend
Stars.
of the Seven Stars or something like that. Yeah.
Legend of the Seven Stars, NES, 1996.
And that game needs a different box art for the West. I see what they're doing, they're matching the Japanese box art for the Super Nintendo original. That's not the box art we had here. This is just 4 characters on a white background. And I feel like they should have just made a different box. Just do a different cover.
Choice. I would love to see it designed by Yoshitaka Amano, like one of those super like have him draw Bowser or something.
Super effeminate Mario reaching out.
All right, Will, tell me about the PlayStation Showcase. It wasn't a state of play. It was a showcase.
I couldn't remember which fucking word they used for it. I know PlayStation's used like 2 or 3 different terms.
This means it's the big one. Was it the big one?
I guess it was the big one.
I guess it was.
I mean, it's the only one we're gonna get. You know, we might.
Was it enough for you?
As someone who already has so much to play, yes. Because I just need something to flesh out the end of my year at this point. I've got Final Fantasy XVI. I've got Street Fighter VI. I just finished Tears of the Kingdom. I almost feel bad for Jedi Survivor because it's also here and is continually being shifted to the bottom of the pile. And that's not entirely fair. And maybe I shouldn't have bought it when I did. But I didn't have the time for reasons.
Exactly why I didn't buy it. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I bought it and then my world collapsed a little bit and I didn't really get to spend time with it. I had a different vision, but I just, I'm good for a while here. But I was like, okay, what big holiday games are there going to be? I mean, Mario Wonder, great, fine. Spider-Man 2 is what I need. Spider-Man 2 is what I need, and the end of October is when I need it. Everything about that reveal looked like what I want.
Yeah.
We're doing the Venom story, which was inevitable, because it's a Spider-Man property that hasn't done it yet, so it has to. I swear to God, it's in a contract somewhere. But I'm also kind of into the way they're handling it. Because in this trailer, they're already showing Peter gets aggressive. Peter is like angry and a little violent. I'm like,
Love
okay. I am absolutely ready for the part where Miles has to kick Peter's ass. I'm absolutely set up. I'm ready and primed for that boss fight that I don't know exists, but I'm pretty sure exists.
Yeah.
It brought in Kraven the Hunter. I love Spider-Man. So I'm always happy when they bring in like a weird character, like a weird villain. I'm like, yes, Kraven yes, let's do that. They started with that jungle setting. I was like, what game is this? I wasn't sure what we were doing. And then it's Kraven. I was like, fuck yeah, here we go. And then like Kraven's out here. He wants to kill everybody. And I'm into that. That's fine with me. That's great.
Yeah.
And we've seen the lizard is here, and it's gonna be
that looked friggin' cool.
It's Kaiju the lizard. It's the lizard, but he is a huge ass monster. And yeah, no, I'm very excited about this game. It looks great. I am all about like everything I saw. All right. I get that they're both Spider-Man, but it's a little weird when they address each other as Spider-Man.
Oh, is that what they do?
A little bit, but it's not like genuinely confusing because, you can hear who's talking, and who else could they be talking to? There are just the two of them. But it's a little bit like, I don't know. That needs to get played as a joke early on, honestly.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It looks fantastic. Spider-Man was one of I think it was my first platinum. And I couldn't stop playing the game. Like I was supposed to sleep, I was supposed to eat,
Mhm.
and I kept going. It was so enthralling, and the boss fight at the end of the first game was so emotional because they paid their dues to build up the characters, and what you're saying about, the inevitable conflict, and it's a character game as much as it is an action game.
Yeah.
And I was impressed by that.
Spider-Man
And-
1 did an excellent job of the inevitable conflict.
Absolutely.
And making like your heart break a little bit when you're like, no, I don't want to do that.
It's so memorable, like you felt like it mattered, and
Yeah.
that's not easy to do
Yeah.
in a game, in a superhero game, in my opinion, to have that type of weight to it. Yeah, great.
They added the little like web armpit
Yes.
things so they can
Yes.
glide and
That was like the
slipstream through
one
buildings.
feature after that first game. I was like, they need to put that in the next one. They need to
Mhm.
put that in the next one. So cool.
Oh man, the one sequence where they really showed open world traversal with Miles, it was so fast. It was so fast. I want to do it so bad.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
It looks like everything I really wanted Spider-Man 2 to be. And fuck yeah, let's go.
His spider
October.
sense and prompts look like the like color scheme of Into the Spider-Verse, where it's that like purple blue like black like laser light thing, and that's
Mhm.
that makes me chub, like you know what I mean, like I am chubby.
I do need them to put Spider-Verse suits in this game. Like
Wait,
they did for
did they
Miles
not?
Morales.
Did they
Well,
not
hang
for
on.
the first one?
Hear me out. No, because the movie hadn't come out, I don't think, when Marvel Spider-Man came out.
They added him post. They added him post game.
You're right, they did.
was like
And
the
Miles
cartoon
Morales
one.
had one that animated the same way, where it like animated on the
Yeah.
twos or whatever.
Yep.
I need one of those that
Holy shit.
animates that way.
The suits are awesome,
Yeah.
except for the Doc Ock suit. I don't know what they were thinking of that. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I didn't quite get that one either, but it's fine.
God, so
I don't know. I really love the first game, and I honestly don't need to see another piece of media about 2. I'm done. I'm sold. It looks like exactly what I want. Let's go.
The only one thing I wanted to mention about PlayStation was Dragon Dogma 2. I think if you know, then you know. If you played the first one and people are sleeping on it, it's going to be great.
Are you one of those
Capcom
guys? Are you the Dragon Dogma guy?
I
People that
played
love that game
one.
love that
I played
game.
the shit out of 1.
Yeah.
It made a lot of it broke a lot of ground in character animations. So you're fighting a goblin, right, or whatever, this big creature, but you climb up that motherfucker with like daggers, and you climb up on it, you start stabbing it in the eye. And I haven't seen a whole lot of that since. It's not something that you really notice in games until you do, which is how your character interacts with other characters. A lot of times, whether we realize it or not, you swing an axe and there's like a flash of color or a fake flash of blood. And sometimes you put an axe in the throat and you start cutting the neck off and seeing it. And there's just like a visceralness that they nailed in the first game. And now with all their learnings, like you really feel like you're doing it. Like the actions, the magic or whatever. So it's something that's going to be interesting in Dragon's Dogma 2. The scale of the fights and the scale of the enemies. It's just the way they play with darkness in that game. Dragon's Dogma is a good RPG and it deserved a sequel, and Capcom's on fire right now.
Yeah, I was gonna
Capcom
say.
makes me chub.
I didn't really click with Dragon's Dogma. I could see what they wanted to do, and they just weren't doing it in a way that I was on board with quite yet. I've never gone back and tried it again. Maybe I should, but I have a lot of confidence that Capcom's gonna get it right. They are batting 1,000 right now.
One
can
game
do
that
it.
I want to talk about before we move on to Antonio's headline that nobody else is going to talk about, but this is the boobs. Revenant Hill was announced, and this is the follow-up to Night in the Woods, which anybody who's been listening
Oh,
to
okay.
Megadads long enough knows Night in the Woods is my shit. Hundo P. And when I saw the trailer for Revenant Hill, I almost cried because I didn't think we were going to get this follow-up after the controversy surrounding the developers and that studio, and they went through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And to see this and to see how it is clearly an evolution of the kind of game that Night in the Woods was, I just goosebumps. I'm so excited that this game is coming. So very excited. All right, Antonio, you have on here, you want to talk about Starfield.
Yeah, so Xbox showed a bunch of stuff.
Xbox showed a bunch of stuff.
People got... I thought it was okay. I thought what they showed was okay. And whenever I'm not excited about something, like, people freak out. But Starfield is the thing that I think is overhyped. Everyone knows that a lot is riding on the game.
Yeah, it has to be overhyped. There's literally nothing else.
So much is riding on it, and it has expectations that are too high to meet. But
absolutely.
What was very weird is I watched the other time they did this, and they revealed Starfield, and they showed building a base, building your ship, the different planets, the combat. Then in this one, they showed it again. And as I'm watching reactions and everything, I felt like people acted like it was the first time they saw it. Like, I felt like people, like, to me, I'm like, what the fuck? We've already seen this. Like, okay. Like, I knew this was in there. Even some of the shots were reused. Some of them were reused in a sense of saying, look, this looks better now. We've worked on this. But it wasn't like and the pace of the reveal of the Starfield breakout was fairly slow. It was that thing where they show the developer office and they have somebody talking and speaking and marketing speak to you about, we believe that the player should be, in charge of your own adventure. Shut the fuck up! Hot take. Hot take. I get two today. If a developer wants to talk, I'm fine with that. Like I want to talk, talk a little bit about your motivations, talk about what was difficult for you, what you love about the game. If you marketing speak me with your office in the background, I like your office. I wish I worked there. But if you marketing speak me and you have 25 fucking clips of marketing speak, like in this trailer, you're wasting everyone's time. And I don't believe a word you're saying. You're not convincing, the 20 to 30-year-old gamer by you saying that. Like, you got to show them, and you're wasting time. Stop. It looks like we've seen what they showed already, which is why when I came out of it, I was like, okay, they gave some new details, and here were the 5 new things that they talked about, which got me more excited, like 100%. They're like, oh, and now you could do this. But what I think's happening with the game, unfortunately, is not only is it overhyped, but they're over-promising. So you have people who look at the fact that you can fight a ship and fight them ship to ship or board the ship. And some people walk away and saying, I'm just going to be a pirate. I'm going to play this whole game in space, never go down to a planet, and I'm just going to do that. I'm going to be a smuggler person, and I'm going to board ship after board ship. That's going to be a huge chunk of what I do. I want to newsflash you. I want to give you some insight that aspect of the game is going to be shallow. It's going to be the same randomized event over and over. You're going to get, let's just give you 5 enemy types, different ship each time, but like a bunch of variations on the same thing. The layout's going to be one of these, and it's going to be procedurally generated. Sorry. If you don't see that for like where gaming is right now, like Skyrim in space is a bad idea. When you're in Skyrim and you walk around, something was around the bend, right? And even they didn't nail it. You'd go into a dungeon, and some of them had a side quest that was cool writing and awesome. Some of them had a chest with some apples in it. And it's all a matter of perspective, because
or worse, a book.
So much. The expanse of space, guess what? Space is pretty empty. Even in a fictional space made by human beings, you have to use procedural generation. That's why they walk back 1,000 planets to 100 planets with life. Oh, and by the way, some of those planets are going to be just where you can mine resources, and some will just have animals and not people. And and then you get down to what's realistic. Because of the expectations, people are blowing it up, and they look at what was shown and they believe that you're going to be able to just board ships. They believe that you're going to be able to just, when the reality of this game is there's so much, and the scope is so big that some of these things will be shallow. The boarding of the ships, the base building is going to be good because they've done it in 3 games already. They did it in Skyrim, they did it in Fallout. They've done experimentation with that. The writing's going to be amazing because they've always been good at that, and they know that a lot's writing on this. The combat is going to be probably better than before. Like, be logical, people. Like, the things they're good at will be better, but the whole aspect of some of these things that people are believing it's not possible yet, and it's not possible with a team. And on top of it, Todd Howard's a lying sack of shit. He will tell you you that this game is ready. He will, I was so pissed. They went on the fucking reveal and they tried to sell the collector's edition watch. After the other burlap sack nonsense, they should have said, you know what?
Oh, that's right.
It would be in poor taste to plug the collector's edition in the reveal where we're supposed to be selling the game. Let's not sell the extras in the same video. But no, somebody somewhere was like, you know what? We got to really push the collector's edition item with the $200 watch bundle. And they did it. And that was poor taste. Fuck you, whoever made that decision. And Todd Howard, you should have at least not been the one to do it. He sat there and told me to buy the watch. It was a cool watch. I almost considered it. But that's not the point. The point is, it was poor taste. And everything I just said are facts, not opinions. Those are facts. That's all I have to say about it. It's going to be great.
I love that you clearly have established Todd Howard as your nemesis.
He lied to me multiple
Freddie
times.
Prinze Jr. is mine.
Yeah. It's going to get an 8.5, an 8.2 to an 8.9, by the way.
All right. You heard it here first.
I like the news story that came out later where it's like, I think I read the headline that Starfield will have quote, the least bugs ever in a Bethesda game at launch. Do you know how low that bar is?
Yeah.
That bar is on the floor and has rolled to the lowest corner of the room.
They had 6 months to polish it after the last delay. Was it not 6 months?
It wasn't all polished, man. That game wasn't done.
Yeah, because they delayed it from 11/11 to 8/9.
Yeah, whatever. It's
yeah,
man.
Keep your expectations in check. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be a great game. It's not gonna be a masterpiece. IMO. I mean,
IMO. Of course, it's not. It's 2023 Bethesda.
Yeah.
This isn't even the same Bethesda that made Skyrim. This is the same Bethesda that ported Skyrim instead of making something else.
That's wisdom. That's understanding the reality, and Will understands that. You had mentioned it before. You gotta know it. That's not the same Atari. That's not the same. Whatever, things change, and we'll see. I'm gonna play the hell out of this game, but it upsets me when people come out and they're just acting like they're new here. Are you new here? This is Todd Howard's Bethesda. This is how games work.
Because everybody wants to talk about Skyrim. You notice how they haven't talked about the games they made after Skyrim?
Right.
What happened to No Man's Sky when it was all ambition, no reality? What happened? Does anybody remember? What happened
it took
with
a hell of
Cyberpunk?
a long time. It eventually crawled out.
Does anybody remember Cyberpunk when it was all ambition, no reality? Does anybody raise your hand?
Yeah.
All right? Just keep your expectations in check. It's going to be great.
With that said, I want to hear everybody's favorite game announcement across all of it.
Mario Wonder.
Everything that happened. Antonio, you go first.
Did you really just say Mario Wonder? You don't even
sorry.
like?
It's not true. You see, this is what I was trying to say. 90% positive, 10% I hope it's better. So thank you for pushing back on me, Will. I have to be challenged in my opinions. We all should, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's going to be great.
Wait, you're fucking serious?
No, most anticipated. I mean, quite honestly, Dragon's Dogma 2 probably.
Okay.
But my honestly, Mario Wonder probably top 5 of everything I saw. Fable, if it ends up working out. I mean, it looked cool. I don't know.
I mean, you didn't see the game. You didn't see
Yeah.
how the game plays.
Well, I saw some interviews later where supposedly they said that
There's a
the part
couple.
where-
There's a couple
Yeah,
of shots of
when
like
when
somebody
you're
running
jumping
around in a house.
like it's like the chase scene or whatever. Yeah, supposedly that's going to be a gameplay segment. But
okay,
who
a
knows?
highly scripted gameplay
Yeah,
segment.
a scripted gameplay segment. It's not going to be like the sword and shield combat or whatever the hell's going on minute to minute. Yeah, so I don't know.
With giant guy from the IT crowd.
Will. What's your favorite?
What's my favorite? I think right now it has to be Spider-Man, honestly. Spider-Man 2 is... There are a lot of games that I liked that we saw over this whole thing. But nothing really quite, I am ready to play another Spider-Man game right now. Do I want to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and see what else is going on there? Absolutely I do. That trailer was fucking bananas. But that game comes out next year. I need to shelve it. I will talk about it at length if anybody wants me to. But I can't do that to myself right now. They're redoing Star Ocean 2. I'm into that too, but I'm not ready to play another RPG right now.
I'm interested in that.
There is a wait list for my RPG attention span. And Star Ocean is going to have to wait its turn. It's like the only game that I'm the most excited about Spider-Man 2 because it's absolutely for sure going to meet lofty expectations. If you wanted me to say something else, I'm interested to see where Sonic Superstars goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 4-player local co-op game.
Could it be good, Will? Could it be good? Could it be good?
It could totally be good.
Sweet.
Like, of course it could be. It could be. Starfield could be good. I like that it's a 2D game. And a lot of what I've seen is what I like about 2D Sonic games. My favorite Sonic game is still Sonic Mania. So, like, I feel like 2D is where that works the best right now. They just, God help them, they cannot get the 3D stuff right. So I am glad to see them back on the 2D plane. And
God,
I
that
think
last
that's
one was just fucking terrible.
It was so fucking weird.
So boring. My
Yeah.
God. My favorite
weird.
game from
Yeah.
the entire announcement set,
Yeah.
we haven't talked about it at all, was Star Wars Outlaws. I was floored. This thing was like Uncharted and Star Wars just got into a room and got nasty together. Like, just, it looks so cool. I love the design of the heads-up display when the little marker comes up that says where you are, and the font. It just, the character, and she's got like the little cute guy that does the cute things, and you can command him to do the thing. It's like he's like the BD1, but he's like a little mutant furry monster guy. You got on a freaking speeder bike, and you're speeding through this village, and then you get into your ship, and then your ship takes off, and then it flies off, and then you're piloting and doing space combat shit. And then they do that cut at the end that shows all the different locations, and
This kind of sounds more Starfield than Starfield does.
I loved just the personality, the vibes that this thing put off. I just felt like it looked like Horizon. It looked like Uncharted. It looked like that third person scripted adventure action game that I just get chubby for all day. I'm not a huge Star Wars guy. I like Star Wars guy. I like Star Wars. I like Star Wars a lot, but I'm not like a Star Wars super fan that it's going to lose my shit at everything Star Wars. This game just looks so good. Looks so good. I was blown away. I was very surprised by how much I was into that trailer.
Is that when is that? When is that supposed to happen?
Next year.
Next year. Okay.
In
I didn't
quotes.
watch any of the Ubisoft stuff. full disclosure, Ubisoft games, I know that a game's going to come out in 2 months. It's going to be half price, and I'm going to have everybody's opinion on it.
Have you seen the trailer for it?
I have not. No.
Oh my god,
I missed it. Which game?
Star Wars Outlaws.
Oh my god.
When we're done here, you guys go and watch that trailer.
Okay. I will go watch it.
I don't know.
It stole the show. It stole the show. It was like
it stole it from me. Like I for sure thought it would have been Spider-Man or Final Fantasy, but this game came out of nowhere, and it pantsed me. It's
I didn't watch that one. I'll have to do that. I think the new Prince of Persia looks like it could be cool, but
yeah, that's cool too.
They canceled the remake completely then, right? And then
no, I think it's still in development. The Sands of Time remake.
I thought they canned it, yeah.
Yeah, I think they had to start over because everyone noticed how even in like the publicity screenshots, you could tell that the same model, the same guy was in this shot 3 times.
Yeah. I hope they do that one right.
Like the Star Wars thing that you were talking about, and you're right. If the expertly crafted, dense locales that feel alive are going to be better than the empty space. Like, here's a planet for you to go to that's just empty. Like, again, that's realistic, right? They are going to use their deep lore and world and characters and make it feel alive. And that's what Starfield should have promised instead of like just scope. You know, nobody gives a fuck in the end about that. Mass Effect didn't, like Star Wars didn't. You know, like, this is what you have to do to make a good space.
I'll do a hot take.
Oh!
Massive scopes do more harm than good. Smaller video games on a smaller scope are 9 times out of 10 better for it. RPGs like Starfield need places to go where role playing can happen, and that happens way better in spaces that aren't empty or filled with, well, that guy has a quest over there and that's it. Like, smaller, more intentionally designed spaces are better for most things.
I'm so glad you're back. I'm so glad you're back, though.
I get into an argument with a friend of mine on a regular basis about the Batman Arkham games, because I sit here and I say Arkham Asylum is the best one. It is not close. Those games ballooned and got messy real quick. Arkham Asylum, like I'm not advocating every game be that small in scope. But wide as the ocean, deep as a puddle doesn't work most of the time, I don't feel. Certainly not in an RPG setting where you need that depth. That depth needs to be there.
Hundo P.
I think we all agree on that one.
Well,
agree on that one.
So just so you know,
the fucking industry doesn't.
I think Assassin's Creed, typically big.
Oh, that's another one.
It's going to die. Starfield comes out September 6th. Assassin's Creed Mirage, October 12th. Spider-Man 2, October 20th. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, October 20th.
I hadn't even thought about that.
Solid.
It's gonna get shit on, like Taco Bell. It's gonna get Taco Bell'd out the wazoo, and I'm so sad about it.
Oh man, see, I thought he brought up Assassin's Creed as another example for my point.
No, it is.
I feel like
it's gonna suffer.
Assassin's Creed is the fucking poster child for my point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you. It's gonna die because it's all scope. No, it ballooned.
Even Assassin's Creed is scaling back down for Mirage. They're having to tighten it back up. And it looks better for it. Like,
the locale seems like it's been done before. But anyway, I don't want to digress. Sorry.
That's fine as long as it's done well.
We'll see.
Like, that's fine. You know what? Most of the Yakuza games take place in the same fucking neighborhood.
Same 3 alleys. You run down 3 alleys the whole time.
And
same noodle shop.
But they're created with a lot of detail and depth, so it still works.
Yep. Hundo P.
Like, I would take a smaller, more intentionally designed space than anything that even has the word procedural generation in its description.
100%. You know, like when you're getting licked and they're just like licking everywhere, and you're just like, can you just focus and put all your care and attention on the spot?
Like a hummingbird?
Yeah, like
The spot TM.
you know, just like put the extra effort into the good spot and just focus on that. You know what I mean?
Nobody likes a sloppy liquor.
It's time for Discord Leaderboard. At the Megadad's Discord, we have a bot who keeps track of how often each member posts. And each month, I tally those up to determine our most active members. For this month, those members are: in third place, Laffer. In second place, N Johnson 5513. And in first place, has he even opened up his PSVR 2 yet? Brian S, aka Braves B. And our most active Megadad's team member, the glue that keeps the team together, Hypecaster. As of the first of the month, all post counts have been reset, so get in our Discord, get chatting, and maybe next time you can be on the Discord leaderboard.
Here's the deal. I'm pretty sure I deleted my caboose whistle sound effect. So instead of that, we're going to do this.
I'm gonna come.
And we're going to start talking about the caboose, because we've reached the end of this episode of Megadad's Live. But the fun doesn't stop when the podcast does. We have so much coming up this month here at Megadad's. So many games to review. I know Will's working on a review for Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. He's put 756 hours into it, and he's finally got a score for us, right?
Yeah.
It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
I will be reviewing Final Fantasy XVI. Antonio's probably going to be playing Diablo again for like 4 months in a row.
Can we call the caboose happy ending?
Oh my god.
Can we change it right now?
Oh my god.
I'll work on a new jingle. I'll work on a new song.
That feels more on brand.
It does. It really does. So let's recommend something outside of the world of video games for folks. Who'd like to start? Will, you're back.
I'll start.
Why don't you kick us off?
What you guys know about books?
Oh,
like real
God.
books.
I've
you lost me.
Books.
You lost me.
Give me some.
I've in an effort to deal with some things, I've taken up some older hobbies and things. I'm reading again. Right now I am reading Legends and Lattes, which describes itself as a high fantasy book with low stakes. It's about an adventurer who has retired. They've done their last quest, and now they're opening... Well, she's opening a coffee shop, but no one knows what coffee is. Coffee is like highly regionalized. She had it somewhere out in like a gnomish city or something, and she's bringing it here, and nobody knows what it is. And she is an orc, so people are kind of standoffish and stuff. So
I'm buying this right now.
I am really enjoying this book. It's not like a new book. It's not news or anything. I'm sure a lot of people have read it if they read fantasy, but I hadn't. And I am really into it. I'm having a good time reading this book.
Look at
like,
you.
I just finished a chapter. Like, she just hired a little ratkin boy named Thimble to come in and bake cinnamon rolls, and I'm all about it. Like, yeah, Thimble, bake those cinnamon rolls. And it's not action-packed, but like it doesn't pretend to be, and I feel like it's written really well, and it's very nice.
Legends and Lattes?
Yeah, actually, give me a second. I can get it and give you the author.
Travis Baldtree.
Yeah, Travis Baldtree.
I'm buying this right
Legends
now.
and
It looks
Lattes.
fantastic. It's incredibly highly
It's a good
rated.
book. Yeah.
That's
I love the
hilarious.
cover.
Yeah, it's a good book.
All right, Antonio, give us your happy ending.
Oh, my happy ending outside of games. I mean, I just have to be honest. Any waking moment that I have, I'm gaming. It's not often that you have so many good games that you are overwhelmed. For a long time, I was waiting for something to be addicting. So if anything, I would say best time I'm having is trying something outside of my purview, right? I'm not a fighting game person, not an action hack and slash person. Zelda wasn't my favorite like game series, you know. And now I'm just like, Zelda, Legos, nuts and bolts. Like, this is fantastic. Like, I'm an online ranked fighter. Like, I'm spending an obscene amount of hours playing Diablo. So go out of your comfort zone. That's my happiness right now, is trying new things. Like, I don't know, almond milk. Yeah,
Like
books.
books.
You know what I mean? But I don't have time for things outside of gaming. Gaming is too good. Once it hits your lips.
Well, maybe I'm priming people because maybe they'll read my book.
Yeah, read this. Oh,
it's not done.
Oh, I want to read it.
No, it's not done.
All right. Okay. Try new things. Try new things. I was going to recommend a movie, but I always recommend a movie. So I'm going to try something different.
What was the movie? Just tell me.
John Wick 4. It's fucking rad.
Okay, keep going.
Fucking rad. Lemonade.
Okay.
Lemonade. It is hot. It is hot as balls right now.
It's too fucking hot. Yeah.
Lemonade.
It is hot as balls right now, and I don't always promote getting drunk. So when you're not getting drunk, a nice ice cold glass of lemonade in the summer, there is something about it. I've been drinking a lot of it lately. It's probably why I can't make it through the night without having to pee. And do you guys have that problem? I cannot make it through the night. Not at all.
Lemonade is such shit, unless it's an Arnold Palmer mix.
Are you shitting on lemonade?
Yeah, lemonade makes you thirsty, which is a...
Just drink more lemonade. Problem solved.
No, it's not refreshing.
Oh, it's good.
It's
so good.
It doesn't quench. It's just... Now,
lemonade
ice cold pineapple.
Lemonade and adult diapers, so that you don't have to get up in the middle of the night to pee like I do. That's my happy ending. Thank you. That's going to do it, guys, for this episode of Mega Dads Live. We hope that you have a wonderful day celebrating something that's not America. As you're listening to this is getting published on July 4th. Celebrate the fact that Jeff Goldblum killed aliens on this day back in the 90s or something. Right?
On this Independence Day. One of the best monologues in cinema.
Coming up, we've got a lot of great stuff on Mega Dads. And next month, I will be at 2DCon, which I'll be doing another live show. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I'll be there at 2DCon. If you are local in the Minnesota area, look up 2dcon.net, get some tickets. Come see me. I'll be there. Evan's going to be there. Rob is going to be there. It's going to be a great time. That's going to do it for this episode of Mega Dads Live. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you next month.